Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Rosie here, and today we are going to do another Dead by Daylight discussion video highlighting what I think is actually a pretty big problem in the game. Uh, so, the problem with the game, and we all know, is that survivors can do the gens too fast, right? They do the gens too fast, games, and you can't realistically hope to get two against anybody who's good. That's the problem with the game, okay? So, I think I would kind of understand why. I mean, of course, I understand why, but I have here something I wanted to bring up as a possible overlooked reason as to why the Gen Rush is so bad. Okay, and the thing that I think I've discovered is that hooks are fucking useless. Like people say, oh, you gotta do 12 hooks in a match, bruh. Let's talk about a hook. A hook is fucking useless. All right. So here is my understanding. Okay, so the early game starts, and again, this has been acknowledged by content creators that killers suck in the early game. Okay, the the definition of pressure is what I want to go into here to really drive my point home. Okay, the definition of pressure as seemingly laid out by Otofu in his Gen Speeds video from a while back. I could be misquoting here. You might want to go rewatch that because I haven't watched that in a while. This is going from memory, and my memory might be flawed. But the definition of pressure that he gives in that video, I believe, is the survivor's inability to work on generators. Like when you come up and chase somebody, you are pressuring them because they can't work on gens. Okay, and then once you hook somebody else has to come in and get them, and then you chase a third guy, and then there's only one person doing gens, so those three survivors are pressured. Okay, I believe that's what he said. He might have said one other thing. He might have said one thing less than that. It's not really worth going to check because I think it's a pretty solid definition of pressure, so even if that's not what he said, I still think it's a pretty solid definition of pressure. So 3/4 of the team unit there would be pressured. Okay, however, there's something I want to discuss, and that's the hook there. You talk about the hook. That's useless. Okay, I'll tell you why. Okay, the hooks are not... The problem with the hooks and why I don't consider a hook to be real pressure. Okay, now again, first of all, multiple hooks can be pressure real fast. Because if you have two hooks on the board... That's real pressure because you've downed two survivors. That requires immediate attention. I'm talking out the basic, you have one hook on the board. Okay, that's state of the game. There's three survivors, and there you have one hook. Okay, that scenario right there is not real pressure. Okay, and this is a big part of why the Gen Rush, I believe, is so devastating in the current meta. Because that is not real pressure. So basically... you as the killer are chasing this one survivor for, let's just say the survivor's good. They last about 50 seconds, 50 to 70 seconds, which is the Identity 5 average. So 50 to 70 seconds. So they get downed, and then you put them on a hook, okay? Is that survivor an immediate rescue? Like, Otofu, when Otofu described it, it's like, oh, and Scott Jun, they go, oh, willy-nilly, now this survivor's got to get off the generator and go save him. You're doing some new pressure, killer. No, that's not real pressure, because check this out. I'll tell you why it's not real pressure. It's a situation, is what I define it as. It's a situation. It's something that can become pressure eventually. Hook stages. For survivors, hooks have 3 different stages. Stage 1 and 2, each having a duration of 60 seconds. Okay, if you don't understand what that means, it means a survivor that is currently 18 years old, a female survivor that's 18 years old, has until they hit menopause to fucking get that guy off the hook. Okay, the survivors have 12 fucking years to get the guy off the hook. Seconds are everything in Dead by Daylight, ladies and gentlemen. 60 seconds, something that the devs have already defined as is too much time for something like Pop Goes the Weasel, and the DS change that they're going with proves that they think 60 seconds is a bit long for the definition of tunneling. So 60 seconds is, by the devs' admission through their changes, a long time in this game. 60 seconds, that is quite ridiculous. Basically, what that happens is when you hook somebody, okay, first of all, you chase a survivor. No competent survivor is going down significantly less than 60 seconds in this game. Like, no way. If you down somebody in 30 seconds or less, you're playing a fucking potato. Okay? Like, for real. Okay, so like, because the survivors know that, and the killer is not a threat. But you have to make sure that you know that the killer is not a threat. If you define the killer as a non-threat, again, maybe Spirit and Nurse kind of changed the rules a little bit. But once you define the killer as a non-threat, you understand what I'm talking about here. So they have 2 minutes to go over there. What survivor team is not going to make sure they crank the fucking gens out first before they get the guy off the hook? This is where gens before friends comes from. So that you have 60 seconds to make that play happen, that play is not an immediate priority. That's why the hook isn't real pressure. Okay? Now, again, if you have multiple hooks, that's a little bit different. But, like, still, the killer has made 2 reads. The killer has done a time commitment and gotten 2 hits on this guy, hooked them. You'd think that would start becoming pressure, but it's just not, because of how lenient this time code is. This time right here allows the survivors to get done with any gens that they're probably working on right now, and then they crank 3 of them, still have 2 years to get over there and get the hook. That's a very, very lenient time that gives the survivors a massive amount of control over the game. Do you see the problem I have with this here? The survivors have so much control over a 60-second hook timer to the point where I don't even call it pressure. That's not pressure. That's a situation that can become pressure over time. Okay? It's like Joker's chattering teeth in Injustice. When Joker throws out the chattering teeth in Injustice, that's not real pressure. The Joker players actually call it fake pressure. One hook in Dead by Daylight is fake pressure. That's not real. And as you can see, the top content creators are dumb enough to fall for it because they don't know what they're doing. Okay, so once you define one hook as not a real pressure, you're going, oh, fuck, the game makes way more sense now. That's how the survivors have so much time to sit on gens, because that's not doing anything. Is there a game we could possibly compare it to that has a better timer on the hooks? Is there any game that you can think of? Like, is there a different asymmetrical 1 versus 4 horror game that kind of is similar to Dead by Daylight that you could compare this to? Oh, wait, yes. Yes, there is, ladies and gentlemen. Just as it turns out, there is. There is one. Hold on. We have to go sideways for a second. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Identity V rocket chair. Check that out. Check that thing of beauty out. Let's see how long the survivors get on the hook in that game. And this game is more or less balanced around 2 kills and 2 escapes. This is a balanced game, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check out their mechanics. 1, 2. Oh, for survivors, chairs have 3 different stages. Stages 1 and 2 have a duration of 30 seconds. Wow! That's fucking half of Dead by Daylight's hooks. When someone hits stage 2 in Dead by Daylight, they're dead in Identity V. They're dead. The survivor's gone. They're dead. Even if they're not dead, 30 seconds, you have 30 seconds to get the fuck over there or your teammate's dead, is significantly more pressure. Like, you know what, 30 seconds is before you hit stage 2 is significantly more pressure. If you want to save your teammate, you have to be over there within seconds. That's so much better, guys. That is so much better for the game itself. And this is a big part of why the game is balanced in my mind. This is right here is a big part of it. It's interesting to me that this is 30 seconds. Like, it goes fast, bruh. This really goes fast. And if this were in Dead by Daylight, people would bitch about it. But like, here's also the thing. I don't know if this is the type of solution that we want to give to Dead by Daylight. Okay, because Dead by Daylight is a different game, and I want the active role of chasing to be bigger part of the meta. Okay, I've always wanted that. Even for Identity V, I kind of wish chasing was still a bit more viable. But the point is this flat 30 seconds what you want to do to Dead by Daylight's hooks to make them more pressure? Maybe you could do 45 as a test, like a starting point. I don't know. That's kind of where I was going to turn it over to you guys for a discussion. Maybe you could do if the killer is not camping the hook, like if he's within like Devour Hope range of the hook, the timer could speed up to be 30 seconds, like, or the timer could just exponentially speed up. I don't know what you want to do for Dead by Daylight. Do you want to try the Identity 5 flat 30 seconds and see what that does? See how that balances out at top level? Do you want to do a different Dead by Daylight-esque system that works with the mechanics of that game more? The problem is a hook is not real pressure in its current form. Okay, one hook is easily dealt with, and the Gen Rush isn't even affected. Okay, the killer has to make 4 hits on survivors within very quick succession for that to be considered real pressure, and the right hits as well, because you have to actually be downing people. In Identity 5, one chair is significant pressure because of this mechanic right here. That's how, like, every hook means nothing, while every chair means something. That's just something that you notice when you've played both of the games. A chair is worth more than a hook is. Like, people say, that's why you can down a survivor with 3 ciphers done in Identity 5 and still 4K rather easily, because one chair means so much. I think I've made my point, guys. The hooks in Dead by Daylight are fucking useless, and I think that needs a serious adjustment, and I really hope they do something about it. All right, lads, GG's. I'm out of here. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I want to know. This is an interesting topic to me.